Welcome to episode number
50.
50. And where are we, Natasha?
We're in Lanka. We're in Sri Lanka.
Right.
Paradise of the tropics.
Paradise of the tropics. Such a nice trip. We're boiling, by the way, right now.
This trip, for some of us, has been life-changing.
Yeah, me.
Just Archit. Okay, before we actually get to like what we're talking about, what I did want to say was that it's our birthday trip, and Archit's birthday hasn't come yet, but mine passed 2 days ago.
And some of you wished her. Shout out to Matthew again.
Matthew, we love you.
Thank you so much, buddy. We really appreciate it.
But wait, what I was trying to say was that like we went snorkeling for my birthday, and I was dying to have the experience that Hrithik Roshan had in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, even though that was diving and this was snorkeling, and I've done both before as well, but like I didn't have the feeling back then when I did deep sea diving, and I did not have the feeling right now when I did snorkeling.
I did.
To Zoya.
I didn't.
To Zoya Akhtar and Hrithik Roshan. I just call him that. I'm an ass. Fucking chill out.
Yeah.
Right? Just fucking chill out.
No, I mean, Natasha's, no, that doesn't mean. Okay, I really like the movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a good movie, except for when he cries after getting into the ocean.
But I think the symbolism of the fact that like you've finally like done something for yourself and then figured out something bigger is interesting, and like it's very hard to picturize that if you really think about it.
Whatever.
They did it through this like moment, and yes, it now if you look at it, it feels very formulaic, the movie, because like it's basically 3 acts with
Yeah.
Anyway, but I really like it, and Natasha's just a hater. Yeah, she's just a hater.
Anyway, yeah, this has been a great trip. We will, of course, talk about it eventually.
Yes.
Just not right now because we're still in the middle of it, and we promised you a wedding episode.
Yeah. So first wedding episode of the season. We're really focusing. Of course. Why not?
We keep making up seasons in our head. There are no seasons to this show.
Season being like yeah, sure. I mean, it's still season 1, by the way, so nomenclature wise we're fine. Now, the first episode of the wedding edits it will be focused on the first thing that we kind of did as we knew that we were going to get married and that we need to actually like start the operational project of marriage is
of
venue.
Wedding planning.
Yeah, of wedding planning was venue.
Yeah.
So this episode's kind of focused on venues.
Yeah. I'm just thinking back now, and I had this whole like I'm fucking done with this very early on, right? Because I gave up on venue finding in like a week. But I think there was just like for me, there was like other things of need to buy like giveaway thingies like bangles and bags and need to do my outfits and all of that. Like I already had the stress of all of those things.
You know, there's a difference to it actually, and it's the fact that when we started doing the venue was also when the checklists for the entire wedding was getting developed.
Yeah.
And because in both our houses it's the first wedding really that we've done. Because I mean I'm a single child, so only wedding.
Single child.
And Natasha is the younger sister, yet she's the one who the younger sibling.
The younger sibling.
Yeah, and then yet she's the one who got married first, and none of the other siblings have gotten married. So all the lists came in, but like there were no timelines. So all of a sudden, when the venue process started, was also when everything else started, which didn't need to actually begin.
Yeah, I think that was just too much
happening. So that's why it was overwhelming from a venue perspective in Delhi, Natasha. Like I think what we should talk about specifically is like how did you go about finding these places? The nuances of like there are like really like weird things that happen at venues, right? Like how they make money. So let's talk about that.
Cool. So interesting. I obviously don't remember exact details of everything, but like I think where we began from was just like places we knew of because we'd attended weddings at a certain place or like had heard about them and things like that. We always knew from the start that we wanted like a smaller wedding, and when I say smaller, I mean like in comparison to what Delhi weddings usually look like of 1,000 people. We always wanted a smaller wedding relatively. I think the two of us were actually hoping for a 200 guest wedding and it ended up being a 400, though like of course all 400 didn't show up, but we did like invite about 400 people by the end of it. But because we knew that we didn't need a really large venue, I think that was the one thing that kind of like helped us shortlist places that we wanted to look at. Um, I very clearly remember the one venue we went to, Zorba.
Yeah.
Because we'd all gone together and we'd done like a little tasting there because the venue was like, if you're using our venue, you use our caterer,
Yeah.
you use our decorator, you use our DJ, you use
Yeah.
our bartender. They had a
Yeah.
lot of like,
Actually,
you
that's
must do this.
that's the thing that's really interesting, right? Like there are different kinds of venues to look at. One is the very classic hotel, right? Hotels will do either everything or they'll just give you a space and then you have to find everyone else. Then there is the, oh, this is a garden and like a big plot of
A
land.
farm.
Yeah, with like, you know, toilet areas and kitchen built in, and that's it. And you can rent this out and it's just empty. There's nothing else there. You have to get everything.
Mm.
And then there's a third, which is like a mixed hybrid, which is it's a managed farmhouse. So again, built out areas the same. They'll add frills to it to make it look nice and fancy. And then on top of that, they make money not just by the venue. They also make money because they will exclusively do all the decor or they'll
Hmm.
exclusively do all the food. One of these like additional things which like really increases the value of the place. It also makes it amazingly expensive.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
process.
I think one of our biggest shocks was just to learn about the pricing of these
Yeah.
places. Not like, I mean, I don't think I went in expecting that it'll be cheap.
Yeah.
I just did not go in expecting that
Yeah.
it'll be that expensive.
Yeah. So the most popular spaces are the hybrids now,
Yeah.
and there's some that are like uber expensive. Like we went to one place called Meherbag.
More bad.
Moorbag, and that place, the guy who was ushering us and talking to us, full English, like full suit he was wearing, and then he had his own like little cubicle waiting area where so also the other thing is like when you go to these places, sometimes you go in when there's a marriage happening and nobody cares. You just walk
Yeah.
in and there's a whole like area where all the other prospective clients are sitting.
Yeah.
And they're like, हाँ जाके देख लो सारी चीजें ऐसे शादी चल रही है यहाँ पे, and you're just walking around
And
in
in the
like
middle of that,
plain
they're like,
clothes.
खाना भी try कर लो आप.
खाना भी try कर लो. And it's just so awkward because there's like the mother, the bride, all of them are crying and all of that is happening, like emotions and like amazing event for them. And then we're on the side, yes, में नमक कम है, मिर्ची ज़्यादा है.
I think, yes, food, but just going back to the venues for a second, I think another thing that we did know from the start was that we didn't want an indoor wedding.
Yeah.
And we wanted a wedding that was in the day. So that also helped us like narrow down the fact that we wanted like a farm, lots of greenery.
Yeah.
We wanted natural beauty as opposed to like,
Sunlight.
yeah, sunlight, and as opposed to just like, man-made nonsense
Yeah.
that is there in a lot of places. The venues that are actually really big now are like the ones that have the outdoor space and then also have like a glass house, for
Yeah.
instance. Those are really in. There are a bunch of venues like that in Delhi and Gurgaon and whatever.
Yeah.
Why did we pick Delhi? We have no clue. We really struggled with the.
No, Natasha wanted Delhi. That's why.
No, actually, okay. Now everything is just coming back to me. So actually, the venue that I really wanted was this place called 1AQ. It's in Chhatarpur, in between like Qutub Minar and that entire like Qutub area and stuff like that. And it was so beautiful. It had this giant banyan tree, and like my mood board obviously was like, we will get married under a tree and like we'll hang flowers from the branches and it'll just be beautiful. And it would have been so fucking beautiful, but we couldn't get that place because they stopped giving it out for weddings. They used to do it at
Yeah.
one time and they also used to give it out for events, and then they decided against it because it used to become a mess. But they basically had a relatively small area at the bottom, which was like the farm of it all. And then they had a terrace that went all around the property, which we were like, perfect. Like the party will split up into the younger crowd and the older crowd, and our friends can go upstairs and like chill, and
Yeah.
they don't have to mingle, and it'll be great. Didn't work out. I think that's actually why I gave up.
Yeah.
Gave up is because like I was so upset that
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's something that just comes with
Yeah.
this entire
Actually,
process.
that's also that's what you're
Yeah.
saying is absolutely right. Like you realize in every point of the wedding process there is what you want and then there is what you get.
Yeah.
And
And the what you want is what you can't have.
yeah, or it's just not possible. It's just like
Yeah.
it's not viable. It's not because like there are factors out of your control basically
Yeah.
sometimes that prevent that from happening. And it's almost like we have to make peace with it. And this was, again, the venue was the first time that we were doing the whole process, so it was hard for us to make the peace with it quicker.
Yeah.
I think as we went along in the wedding process, there were other things that happened, and we were okay with them being changed, and we were like, fine, like I can't do anything about
Yeah.
it. So we got more and more numb to that
Yeah.
process as well.
Speak for yourself.
I did, and Natasha did too, but she will not.
It took a lot of time for
Yeah.
me to get there, but yeah.
So the venue. I mean, on average, I think it was like for 200 people, the cost was like 50 lakh rupees or something like that. It was
Where?
in like the hybrid places. Like,
No.
Yeah, Zorba was 40 lakhs.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, Morba
Okay, but that was
50
food
lakhs.
included.
Yeah, food included. So that's the cost that they will take, no?
No, I think like the high cost that we were finding for just venue were like 10, 12 lakhs.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just had a really fun day with my mom once because I was like, fuck this shit, I'm not doing it anymore. They went to like a bunch of venues and like did like full scouting and recce and everything and like came back with these giant numbers for costs. And I think like that's kind of when we changed our approach. Yeah. Do you want to talk about like how your parents found the place we finally
Yeah, I mean,
used?
I think with just conversations with other people who've done weddings, and especially with people who did COVID weddings, because those are very unique ones. Because you had to have less people, but also like a lot of these like venues were shut. So they found someone on their, like, they do walking trips and like around their house.
Walking trips.
And they found a neighbor who had just done a wedding, and then they found this place, and it was actually a really nice place. It fit the bill that Natasha's mood board had, which was like a tree. It wasn't a banyan tree; it was a mango tree, so a little shorter.
I just wish it had mangoes growing on it.
It did, but on the other side.
They were kacha.
Yeah, कच्चे ही तो होंगे.
I want
winter.
yellow mangoes.
But तो summer में करो फिर शादी. So obviously summer में खाते हो ना mangoes. So it was that tree. It had flowers, and like we'll put up some pictures that we have from the wedding in this video as well. It was basically what she described. It was
It was a big tree. It was a lot of greenery, a lot of natural beauty.
Flowers.
Some flowers. They actually this one time we went to see the venue and they had the prettiest flowers at the entrance, and I was like, this is the dream. We need to have this. But like that was like in
Summer.
in like September,
Yeah.
October types, and like the flowers were gone by the time it was time for our wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. It was a really nice place. You can hear the birds.
Yeah,
I think.
peacocks.
Peacocks. Anyway, yeah, I think like that's kind of the entire process. And then of course there was a lot of like going to the venue, seeing if it works. Like after Ajit's parents saw it, him and I went once, and my mom went once. Like it was a lot of like all of that. I think the one thing with wedding planning that I still choose to not accept, but Ajit keeps saying, is that there are a lot of stakeholders involved. And you need to make sure that everybody is happy to some extent at least.
Yeah.
And like in my head, I'm the only stakeholder. It's my wedding, but I guess the world doesn't work
No.
that way. But yeah, I think like to summarize, venues are really expensive, like unbelievably expensive. But you have to do that scouting. You have to see what fits, like what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Um,
And sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and I think that I want to become really rich and then buy a place that can be a wedding venue. And then I'm just sorted for life.
Yeah,
That's my summary.
So I think the other thing, Natasha, like, what are your tips? Like, do you suggest people go for the hybrid? Do you suggest they go for hotel? Do you suggest like
You
they
know,
go for what we did?
It's different for everyone. I guess it's really just depend on what you want. I don't know if I love the idea of you go to a place that provides you with everything, because it is limiting. So they'll have their own decorator, they'll have their own like limitations to what they can do with that decoration. They'll have their own bartenders, they'll have their own like set of drinks that they can make and will not make and stuff like that. The food is not always good. It's hard to find a place that does good food as well as like good like as well as just being a nice location. Um but I see the convenience in it. So it just depends on
Yeah.
how much you want to be involved in a process.
Yeah,
and
how much control do you want?
yeah, how much control do you want? I'm the type of person who wants a lot of control. So like we chose to, yeah, I mean we saved a shit ton of money on that venue. God bless that man who gave us the place. But like it was good to be able to like, I mean, firstly, how great was it to just go for several tastings?
Yeah.
Um,
That's another
what
episode.
of course, but what an experience. So like, I'm so glad we didn't go with like a zorba, which is like this is our food and just
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
that was
Yeah, I
definitely-
like to have control. So I think like it just depends on the person and what they want to do and things like that. I do love the idea of those glass houses. They just look very pretty, and I mean, I think they're very good for like an extreme weather wedding where like if it's too cold you can be inside, you'll be cozy, and if it's hot and you're doing a summer wedding, it's shitty outside but inside is air conditioned.
Yeah.
Those are great things to have.
Yeah. And like I think the other thing that wasn't there for us that is there for a lot of people is that we right in the start decided that we're not going to like base our wedding dates based on any sort of like cultural and religious aspects of it.
Yeah.
So we were choosing what we wanted, and so we had the choice to like pick up the right time, the right weather, the right conditions. Whereas a lot of people don't have that, and we have friends in our own circles who are struggling
Yeah.
with a midsummer wedding. And
Yeah.
if you have that, then you really can't go for a let's just book a field and then do whatever we want kind of a style, because you will literally die of dehydration. So
Not
that
if
is
you have
also there.
Electrol on you.
Okay, sure. Another sponsor.
I love Electrol.
Last time we
Wait,
were sponsored by
can I
Bliss Club.
add something?
So-
No, last time we were sponsored by Swiggy.
and Bliss Club.
No, Bliss Club was long back.
No, it was this last time as well.
Okay, whatever. What I wanted to add was if your venue is too large, and like I get it. If you're having a typical Delhi wedding, you need a large venue. But like if you're having an alright sized wedding and your venue is too large, you have to spend a lot of money decorating that place, because you can't have just like, as pretty as everything looks, it doesn't feel like it's a part of the wedding if it's not decorated to a certain extent. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. I think like pick your place according to the type of wedding you're having, the size of the wedding that you're having. Think of aspects like, what if it rains, which we didn't think about, so we were just out.
No,
and
we thought about it.
We did not think about.
We thought
didn't-
about it, but we were like, if it rains, then fuck
No,
it.
I was not like fuck it. I was like, my hair will get ruined, my makeup will get ruined, my outfit will get
Yeah,
ruined.
but that's you every day, so that's
No,
not...
that's not me every day. Shut up.
Yeah.
It just makes me sound like I care so much about these things. I really don't, but I did care on my wedding day.
Obviously, you'd care about it in your wedding. I'm not saying that it's like...
Yeah, but you just said that's you every day.
I'm not saying that like you caring about your hair is the problem. It's the fact that you have a lot of like things to care about because of that challenge. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Stop it.
You
Stop it.
take it differently. I don't know why.
So yeah.
Sorry,
like-
I'm really distracted because there's a cinnamon tree near me somewhere. Because like
Where?
every time it blows, the air blows, there's a whiff of wonderful cinnamon that comes.
Yeah, so I think like keep those aspects in mind. Yeah, just let the place speak for itself.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Just find a pretty place. I know it's not I don't think it's ideal to do an indoor wedding. It's very like just you're in a room,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah. Find a
Sorry.
pretty place for sure. I think
Yeah.
that find a place that actually speaks to you.
yeah.
But remember that like if you want, like we didn't have any planners.
Yeah.
We planned the entire thing. We only had vendors for doing specific roles and responsibilities, but we didn't have one person like doing everything for us. And that's another cost that we like completely quashed because of that. And more importantly, it gave us more control over the things that we wanted to do. It is painful to do it. But I think at some point you have to kind of figure that this is going to be the largest party that you'll ever have about yourself. So like, how do you make sure that you're, being as involved in it as you can?
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand why some would not
But-
want to do it.
But I just want to say, like, look at the options that are out there, because you just don't know what you can get, and like, don't just because it's like difficult, don't just settle for the first thing that you get. We went through a lot of places
Yeah,
to
I
finally
think
come to a decision.
we went to 15 different.
Yeah, we
venues.
saw a lot of places. We liked some, we didn't like some at all, so like, explore that. It's a really challenging time of your life when you're planning a wedding, but like, it's something that you don't get back. I'm gonna cry. What the fuck is wrong with me? It's the stress of the wedding planning. It's coming back. I can feel my hair falling.
Okay, so before she erupts,
Oh,
because-
just one second.
come on, yeah.
Brides, you're gonna lose so much hair. There are these supplements called Folly Hair, FOLLIHAIR. Take those. Just start taking those. And then there's some spray called Q Sera, or that's how I pronounce it. QSERA. Start putting that shit in your hair, man, because you're gonna need it. It's so bad. Okay, I'm done.
All right. So on that note,
On that note, and the impeccable heat
Yes.
of Sri Lanka,
we're in a great place. We'll talk about it in maybe the next
Never.
next one. It's a great place. We're living in a cabana. You can't see.
you can't see.
But yeah. All right.
Okay, cool.
See you.
We'll see you on the other side of 29. I'm already 26, so it's all good.
28. 28. 28. Remember that.
25.
She's Benjamin buttoning it. I don't know.
I wish I could.
All right. So on that
Okay,
note,
On
have
that
a good day.
note, thank you for tuning in.
See you.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.